Good morning. We have just now read William Shakespeare's sonnet number 30, Went to the Sessions. As we have seen that it is a typical Shakespearean sonnet. It is made up of 3 quatrains or sets of 4 lines and one concluding couplet. Couplet is the set of 2 lines. I told you it is a set of 2 rhyming lines, and they follow a consistent rhyme scheme of A B A B, C D C D, E F E F, G G, and as all sonnets are written in iambic pentameter. As I told you yesterday, iambic pentameter means that each line contains 5 sets of 2 beats known as metrical feet. The first is unstressed and the second is stressed. And as is common in all Shakespeare's sonnets, the last 2 lines are a rhyming pair known as the couplet. Here the example of iambic pentameter, you can take up the example, when to the sessions of sweet silent thought. Now let us see, as in all other poems, the poetic techniques that have been used in this sonnet. These literary devices or modes are the ones that represent a writer's ideas, feelings or emotions. And it is through these literary devices that the writer make his verse more appealing to the readers. So let us discuss some of the poetic or literary techniques or devices used in this sonnet by Shakespeare. First of all, we see that there is the use of assonance. As I told you in the previous sonnet, that assonance is the repetition of vowel sounds in the same line. For example, the sound of O in this line, and heavily from woe to woe till tell over, and the sounds of AI in this line, but if the while I think on thee. Clear? Similarly, there is the use of alliteration. This also I explained it to you in the previous sonnet. Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds in the same line. Here, for example, the sound of G in grieve at grievances foregone, and look at the R sound in are restored and sorrows. Clear? Then comes the use of consonants. Consonants again is the repetition of consonant sounds in the same line. Here, for example, the sound of M in this line, I summon up remembrance of things past. And again the sound of T in went to the sessions of sweet silent thought. Okay? Then comes the imagery. Now, imagery, I told you before, is used to make readers perceive things involving all their 5 senses. For example, I sigh the lack of many a thing I sought, and mourneth the expense of many a vanished sight. Then comes personification. As you all know, personification means to give human qualities to inanimate objects. Means human qualities are transferred to inanimate objects. For example, here in this sonnet we can take up the line, then can I drown an eye unused to flow. Here the eye is personified, means the eye is not used to crying over the loss of past things or lost people who are no more living, or the people who are dead. Clear? So here in this line, I has been personified, given human qualities. Then next is the use of metaphor. I told you metaphor is an extended simile in which there is a comparison of two things. It is a figure of speech in which there is an implied comparison. Usually it is between the objects of different nature. Here, for example, he says, for precious friends hid in deathless dateless night. So this is the extended metaphor used in this sonnet. And another technique which is very commonly used in the sonnets is, I told you, enjambment. Previously also we had read, it occurs when a line is cut off before its natural stopping point. Means the idea of one line is continued in the next line, and enjambment forces a reader down to the next line and the next quickly. So one has to move forward in order to comfortably resolve a phrase or a sentence. For example, the transition between lines 1 and 2, as well as that between lines 10 and 11. So the use of all these literary devices or poetic techniques used by Shakespeare makes his sonnet all the more appealing and interesting to his readers.